Hello, Helen here. Welcome to my channel. Today's card's a fairly easy one, and this time I'm aiming it again at a male's card. I have this Christmas stamp set here, and it's got a stamp with a line of trees in it, and I'm going to use that stamp to make more of a masculine card. But it could easily be any occasion really, and especially quite a good one for a sympathy card, as it's quite calm and restful. Now I'm starting off with a card base that's 15 centimetres by 11 centimetres. I was able to get two card bases out of the one 12 by 12 inch piece of card with a strip left over that I'm going to use as the backing for my stamped image. For the background of the card I'm going to use this wood grain paper that's out of the heart painted pack by Lemoncraft. It's kind of a lovely grey, so I thought that would go really good with my card base. I think it's always a good idea to look at your stamps in a different way, so using parts of a Christmas stamp set out for other times of the year, or looking at other stamps you have and trying to turn them into Christmas stamps. I think the more value you can get out of the stamps you buy, the better. So I'll start by doing the card base by sticking some double-sided tape onto the front of the card base and then sticking the wood grain paper to that. Peeling the very top layer off first so that I can get it straight, and then peeling the rest off and sticking that down, and then turning it over and trimming it to the edge of the card base. So now that I've got that ready, I'm going to do my stamping. I'm going to use the Misty to stamp the image because it's a new stamp and I'm not sure how dark it's going to stamp. I'm going to use Strathmore Bristol Smooth watercolour paper, as I'm going to want to do some ink blending, and it's a really good paper for blending distress inks. So I'll use a scrap piece of that, put it in my Misty, and then stamp the stamp with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Apologies for being out of the camera shot there. I've got a new camera set up with a new tripod, and the way I've got to have it, it's a lot more forward on the table than I'm used to, so I'm still finding that I'm missing the camera area, so apologies for that. And I ended up having to do a second stamping just to make sure it got darker, and then I'm going to emboss it with clear embossing powder and heat it. I'm then going to make a bit of a snowbank with some post-it. I'm just going to tear the top edge, the sticky part, down, and just make a sort of little rough bank that can go under the trees. And then from there I'm going to use tumbled glass, distress ink, and my mini blending tool with sponge, and just very lightly blend some colour from the bank up and behind the trees. and then I'm going to just adjust the post-it notes just a little bit underneath where it was originally, just to take the starkness off, and do another little line just so it looks like multiple snowbanks. It's very easy and it's just very subtle. I'm then going to trim down the stamped image. I want it to be the same width as the card base, but to be just a little bit top and bottom of the trees. I'm going to then mount this with some double-sided tape onto the strip of grey card that I had left over from cutting out my card bases, and then I'll trim it top, bottom and on the edges to fit the card base. Now before I mount this to the card, I've got a piece of hessian fabric that I'm going to just cut a tag out of. I've frayed the edges and I'm going to cut a fishtail into the bottom of it, and with some glue I'm going to stick that down so that it would be tucked underneath the stamped image, and I'll just leave that with something on it heavy just to help keep it in place while it dries. And then I'll get the stamped image ready to stick down on top of that with some double-sided tape. While that was drying, I decided to do my sentiment, and I've using this Altenew set called Birthday Greetings that I've going to do this bigger stamp, and I also started stamping it on white card, but you'll see later on that I changed my mind about that. I ended up doing it a second time on a Bristol smooth watercolour paper just so that it matched the stamp, and then finally when I came to put it on the card, I decided it was too big, so I stamped another one that was smaller, and I was much happier with that. So now it's just a matter of putting all the card together. I've put some double-sided tape onto the back of the stamped piece, and I'm going to stick that down over the hessian banner. and then I'm going to use the smaller tag, which is going to just overlap that a little bit, but I decided I was going to tie a little bit of string around the beginning of the sentiment tag. And I started off thinking I was going to use this hemp string, but it turned out to be too bulky, so I ended up getting some more natural strings that I've got, and decided on the medium coloured one to tie just a little bow around the end of that before I stuck that down onto the card. If you've been watching my channel for a wee while, you'll notice these last few cards have been a little bit different from what I normally do. I struggle quite a bit with men's cards, and I was just trying really hard to do a few, also some simpler cards, because I know some of my cards are a bit time consuming, and some of the techniques are a little bit more complicated, so I thought I'd just throw in a few sort of easier cards in the mix there. They might suit some of the people that don't like all the fussy cards. They won't be everybody's cup of tea, but I hope some of you like them. So once I've stuck the sentiment down with some foam tape, that'll be the card finished. As usual, I will leave some videos that you might be interested on the end of the video, and some photos of the card before that. If you click on the image of me, you'll be able to subscribe if you haven't already. Please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate all the positivity, and it helps to support my channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by. Bye for now.